numbers, just they are running on your screen, and you can of course make a reservation for yourself or your family. Beginning with, of course, we are going to discuss issues that matter, like I mentioned, it is issues at hand, and we usually of course get into the depth of some of these issues. Today we take a look at the just starting NAM summit on the non-aligned movement summit that of course is happening down in Munyonyo at the Speak Resort Commonwealth Hotel, of course, and we are seeing a number of delegates have already arrived in Uganda in anticipation for this particular summit, and we are seeing heavy deployment of security down at the Entebbe airport to ensure safety and security for our visitors. Of course, Uganda is a peaceful and safe country, and of course we thank God for that. We thank God that our leader, John Museveni, has put a lot of effort in us having peace as a country, as a nation, but also as a city in Kampala. There is no doubt that these people are going to have the best of their time, because of course where they are in Munyonyo is one of the best premises we have around to host such big events. And of course we have a number of donations that have already come in to support this particular cause from other countries, like 10 tractors that were donated by the Indians, but also we have 10 buses, executive buses, to help with carrying around the people and transportation of these delegates. In studio with me is Nuwabine Daniel, who is going to take us through the discussion, because he is the lead PRO of the Summit Task Force in preparation for the 9 Aligned Movement Summit. He is the right person to tell us about each and everything of this topic. You're very welcome to studio this morning.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here at Family TV.
Yes.
And it's a great opportunity you have accorded KCCA.
Oh, okay.
The people of Kampala and all those that have been in the preparations for these events, the NAM and G77 summits.
Okay.
A huge thank you. And I bring you greetings from our Executive Director, Dr. Dorothy Chisaka, and the Deputy Engineer David Uduyimbazi, as well as the entire KCCA fraternity, who are serving Kampala and who are committed to making it a better and a smart city. Interesting.
So we are talking to the right person. As leader of public relations in the preparations, or the task force heading preparations for the NAM summit, my first question would be, have you perfected everything you thought would be come this date? Today is the 15th of January when the NAM summit is commencing. Are you ready? Have you done everything you expected to do in preparation?
Perfection, I will not talk of perfection. But have we beautified? Yes. We have made Kampala a better place.
Okay.
We have made Kampala a better place that you can be proud of, that our viewers can be proud of, that the people of Kampala can be proud of, and the country. And we're sure we're going to make Uganda proud, and we're going to make sure the members of the non-aligned movement go back saying, yes, we made the right choice. On 20th January 2020, when they selected Uganda to be the host, they'll go back saying we made the right choice to go to Uganda.
Okay, that's very beautiful. Now, of course, we have, as journalists from here, but also other media houses, we've been interviewing people about the summit. And there's a challenge we've faced. Some people that we ask say, as we don't know who NAM is, they think NAM is a person. They think NAM is a short form for Namuwong or something like that. So briefly tell us, what is NAM, what is the non-alignment movement, and what is non-aligned movement, and what is this thing all about? Briefly tell us, or take us through.
Well, that means the journalists are not doing their job. Yet they have been covering
I
us.
knew you would say that.
They're supposed to educate the public as the fourth estate. But the non-aligned movement is a group or a conglomeration of countries that is the largest organization of countries next to the United Nations. It was established in the 1960s at the time of the Cold War, especially at the end of the Korean War, for those who did some history. But the Cold War, which is close in the memory of some that were there, was a war of words between the Americans and the NATO and the Soviet Union, which is currently Russia. Now, there were blocks. The world has been divided into blocks. Those who are with Americans and NATO, those who are with the Soviets and the Chinese.
Okay.
So you would either align yourself to any of those blocks. Now the non-aligned movement came up and said, no, we are a group of developing countries and we wish to develop on our own terms. So it came as a drive for sovereignty, that is independence of the member states, as well as non-intervention or non-interruption of the sovereignty of those countries, such that you go and you don't say that the Americans now dictate what I do in Uganda. The Europeans or NATO, which is together with America, they don't dictate. The Russians don't dictate, neither do the Chinese. But we independently make our pathway to development without aligning ourselves to anyone, but having them as partners. Now, unlike the United Nations, the non-aligned movement, all members are in there on equal footing. Uganda is at equal footing with Egypt, with India, despite them being bigger economies. But in the United Nations, you'll find the countries may unanimously make a decision, then one of the countries, say the United States of America, says no. Whereas you have decided, we have vetoed. You're not going to go ahead like you had in the Israeli-Palestinian war. The other countries said let's cease fire. America said no. So in the same spirit, the non-aligned movement, all of them are equal. If they make a decision like they unanimously say let's go to Uganda, Uganda it is. If they all say that no non-interruption, you don't interfere with the internal politics, the internal affairs of a country, none of those countries would interfere. Of course, these are ideals that may be debatable on whether to align or not to align, but the overall picture or the overall motive is to maintain sovereignty of nations and freedom to interact, to trade with whoever you want without having in the backyard alignment to a particular bloc. That is what the non-aligned movement is all about.
All right, very beautiful insight. Now, secondly, we had a budget as Uganda, we had a budget of 52 trillion. Now, of course, Ugandans must be wondering, is the money that has prepared this summit going to affect that budget? And are we seeing a change in whatever we had planned to, do as a country? Because this money was budgeted for, aside from the non-aligned movement money. So we're wondering, is it going to affect our budget in any way?
Well, the non-aligned movement, the summit, we got this opportunity or the decision to have these summits, the summit of non-aligned movement come to Uganda was made in 2020, specifically January 21st. That's about 3 years ago. Now, a number of activities have been going on that are not necessarily intended for now, but would facilitate now. Even our budget, all the activities and all the things that we are doing are part of the work plan. When you're making a budget, there is a work plan that you're budgeting for. We are going to have this, we are going to construct these roads, we are going to work on these drainages, we are going to build these schools. All these activities are part of the overall budget. But in there, those activities that we have planned for equally facilitate summits, equally facilitate the various activities that take place within the country. So there is no extra money, but we are working within what we have, and monies have been assigned to the construction of the airport, construction of the roads, construction of the drainages, the diplomacy around it. All that is part of the overall budget. And that overall budget, or whatever activities are in there, the Non-Aligned Movement Summit is one of the major activities that is within that budget.
Okay. What kind of picture do you expect Ugandans to put across? As a person who works in public relations, I believe, and KCCA, you deal with a lot of people. And my question would be, what kind of picture should we sell as Ugandans to the visitors that are coming to us? And also, are there certain things that we are not supposed to do as we prepare for these visitors?
Well, when a visitor is coming to your home, for example, whenever the bishop would come to whenever a bishop would come to our area, in my Busaba Deacon, in my archdeaconry,
which is where?
That is in the Eastern Kore Diocese.
Okay.
There. Now, when the bishop is coming, there are preparations that you do. It doesn't mean that these activities are not going on, but one, there is an excitement because the bishop does not come alone. He comes with the diocesan secretary, comes with the people at the diocese, sometimes representatives from Namirebe also do what? Also come. So when the bishop is coming, it is a unique experience. It is a blessed opportunity for you to have a high dignitary with a high entourage coming to your area. One, there is excitement and happiness. And the first thing that the archdeacon does is to say, okay, how do we prepare for the bishop? One, let us pray and let us be happy that it is our turn. So in the same spirit, we have 120 countries. This is bigger than Chogam. You remember Chogam?
Yeah, I remember Chogam very well.
Chogam, we had the banknote, but this time we have something bigger. Chogam has about 33 to 40
states, countries.
You remember countries? 120, 8 observer countries, and another 6 observer organizations. So it's a huge thing for the continent, for the African continent. It's a huge thing for Uganda. It's monumental. So the first thing, Ugandans, we are lucky to be alive at a time when we are inviting 120 countries here. What do? We welcome them. There are certain disruptions that are going to take place. Let us bear with the disruptions. For example, some roads are being closed off to allow a smooth mobility of
for our visitors.
And also to secure them. And also to secure them. Imagine if the bishop came to your archdeaconry, and while there, all the people are squeezing through the same road, and then someone pushes him off the road.
That would not be nice.
That would not be a nice thing. So the same way here, we are giving them the dignity. We are respecting them. We are appreciating their choice of Uganda, and they should therefore have that comfort while with us in Uganda, while they are staying with us. Let them observe. Let's give them the right of way. Let's sacrifice a few of our comforts for the good of our city, for the good of our country, such that it's only 8 days, because after now we have the G77. It's only 8 days, but 8 days of making Uganda great. 8 days of making the world appreciate Uganda. 8 days of showcasing who we really are to the world.
Before we get to what exactly this summit is going to, help us with or improve, let's start with the disruptions you mentioned. Some border stages were closed by KCCA, and of course, those borders are complaining that is their source of income. As you've said, we should close one eye and say, okay, it's 8 days, let's just do away with it. But people are complaining that this is now entering their sources of income. And a person who was taking bread at home every day and kameza money now is no longer able to do it because there are some visitors.
This is the notion of the bishop again. Eh? When the bishop visits, even the children who are used to playing in the chairs, especially when he visits the Sava Christo, or the vicar. I'm telling you, even when you are playing in the sitting room, you leave the sitting room for the one. But it doesn't mean that you don't eat.
That's true.
We have removed stages. We have removed children from being in the sitting room.
But they can play.
We are saying they can come through, greet the visitors, and go back and use the other roads.
Okay.
They will keep playing, they will keep eating, but in certain areas we are saying don't be there. We have moved some stages, but not stopped operations of, for example, the border riders. We have gazetted some roads and said these roads are going to support us. These roads are going to support us to ensure flawless mobility of the guests as they come from the summit venue to the various hotels, and to allow the various activities also to take place. We have the business symposium at the conference center, for example. There should be a quick movement from Munyonyo to Serena and back, and the various hotels that I will not mention for security purposes, where these guests are staying. So we have to make sure that guests move freely and precisely and as swift as possible to stop any disturbance that would be there that would compromise their security and also compromise our image. Because if their security is compromised, the hard-earned image, everything that we have done will have been lost. So we are saying the stages should move from the main roads. We put in the press, we had a press conference with Uganda Police last week on Friday, and we mentioned the roads. If we had time, I would go through them, but we shall not. But we have removed 48 stages from Central Division. We have removed another 190 stages from Machinge Division. But the riders will
continue
riding, but we don't need those stages because the stages along the roads, one, compromise visibility of traffic. If you are driving, if there are motorists or if there is anyone moving on the road, the stages usually block that traffic visibility. The stages usually cause congestion. You find that some riders park but also park within the road and the road reserves. Also safety. We know some notorious incidences that have happened that involve the riders, and the diaspora knows that. So we need to secure for safety, their own safety, because the vehicles may be moving at high speed, and security of the visitors, as well as the image. Do you want a congested image?
No.
Do you like the image you see?
No.
Would you want a visitor to see it?
No.
Now, if you don't want it, what about other Ugandans? So in that spirit, we are requesting, and we have engaged the border leadership. We have gone stage by stage in the last 2 months, educating them and informing them why we are doing what we are doing. Then after that, we shall come out again to organize them better, to have their operations done better within the city. But it is for the overall good of the city, of the country, and Africa.
Okay, thank you so much for that beautiful insight. Now we do take a short break and return with more. We are going to look at the benefits, that could be benefits of this particular summit to Ugandans and Uganda in general as a country. Also the issue of debts, is it going to be addressed in this particular summit? That is when we return after the short break. We are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Family TV, enriching lives. Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
You're watching Church of Uganda Family TV. Thank you so much for keeping it issues at hand. My name is Carrot Mwine, and we are here, of course, discussing issues like about the NAM Summit, or the Non-Aligned Movement Summit that is happening in Uganda down at the Commonwealth Resort Hotel in Munyonyo. Of course, we are expecting over 70 or over 50 presidents, but also delegates from 120 countries that make up the Non-Aligned Movement. Now, of course, the decision to host in Uganda was made in 2020, and we are seeing the fruits of it happening right now. We've seen improvements here and there, including infrastructure and roads rehabilitation, but also KCCA has gone a step further in encouraging people who have buildings along the roadsides to improve on the appearance of these buildings. And landlords are complaining, they're saying they have no money to do what KCCA is asking of them. However, our guest had mentioned that all this is for the greater good. We want to have a very clear picture, a good picture. We want to represent ourselves as Uganda very well in front of all these visitors. It's a great opportunity, like he told us, but we are joined by, of course, Commissioner Fred Bamwine from the President's Office to take us through also these issues. We're going to be chatting with the gentleman, and of course you're most welcome, Mr. Bamwine. To start with, you can introduce yourself and say hi to the viewers.
Thank you so much, Carol. My name is Bamwine. I'm a commissioner in the President's Office in charge of Kampala Metropolitan, but I've been around for some time.
Yeah.
I want to thank the viewers and the people of Uganda for doing whatever they can to make sure that their families are surviving. Because largely, whether there is an arm, whether there is what, at the end of the day, the family must eat.
That's true.
Who is watching me, you need to ask yourself, what are you doing on a daily basis, such that your family can get something to put on the table.
Okay.
True, I want also to appeal to you that we have very many visitors coming. We are estimating between 6,000 to 8,000 in total. And you never know where they're going to be. So let us be hospitable enough. Let us be organized enough, because they are coming in these areas, wherever they may be, can be a trigger to this country's economy, this country's employment, and the future. In fact, these meetings are strategic meetings. We are having one of NAM, which is beginning today. That's 120 countries. Actually expected that by the time they end, it will be 121.
Okay.
Because Sudan has applied, is supposed to enter. Then on 23rd, we are starting another one. G77 plus China.
Yeah.
This also will be here for about 4 days or 3 days. And we are talking of huge, we are talking of heads of states. To have 120 countries and so many numbers of presidents, it's not a mean achievement. So once it has come, I want to appeal to everybody. Let us be strategic enough. Let us be hospitable, such that by the time they leave here, they should always know that wherever they want to have a holiday, they want to invest, Uganda is the answer.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that out of these meetings, Uganda will be a step further in terms of foreign exchange that is going to come, in terms of our food, in terms of our accommodation, in terms of employment. Some people are going to be employed to serve these people.
Yeah.
In terms of security, of course, we have upgraded our security, equipment, manpower, and all these necessary preparations. Then the face, you know how we have been as a country, mostly the KCC. But at least you can see some paintings. I think portraits are about to be a word of the past. So really, these guests are a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
But let us be strategic, position ourselves so that we can achieve more.
Okay, let's look at the benefits. Mr. Nwabine, take us through what Uganda is set to benefit from the non-aligned movement.
Well, I will largely look at now that my senior is here, I will largely look at the technical front of our benefits, the technical and economic, and he will, because he's an encyclopedia. If you have been here, you know that Mr. Bambwine is an encyclopedia of political economy and all those activities that we take in the leadership sphere. So I'll mostly look at the technical benefits for the country. He has alluded to tourism and the importance of having numerous guests in a country. Senior, when you are not yet here, we talked of the analogy of a bishop coming into a home or into an archdeaconry. This is the archdeaconry now. Uganda is the archdeaconry where the bishop is visiting. The bishop touches everything. On that Sunday, that is when they auction. In the village setting, they auction the chicken, they auction the goats and everything. Now that we are having these visitors, the entire economy, up to the tomato grower, up to the farm gate, is being touched. If you go to Nakasero today, a broiler chicken has moved from 10,000 to 15,000. That is, I want to look at the value chain of chicken alone. It means, and it is on high demand.
Of course.
Our guests, before that, from garden to the fork, we are looking at from the garden to the fork. There is someone who is going to prepare that chicken. There is someone who is going to serve that chicken. There is someone who is going to supply it to the hotel. There is someone who is going in the market who is going to sell it to the supplier. There is someone who is taking it to the market. There is someone who is feeding that chicken at the farm and selling it. There is a worker on the farm. There is someone who has sold feeds to those, to someone who is doing the chicken. The person at the Moaro in Senyi, the now money is coming to you because you're selling shells that are in the feeds of the chicken. Chicken does not move alone. They have tomatoes on it. They have onions on it. And all these things are coming from where? So now even the border rider whom we have moved off the stage is transporting this food from market to the hotel. Is transporting a service provider from point A to point B. Each of the hotel workers is a Ugandan. They are going to pay as you earn. They are going to pay local service tax. The guests are going to pay hotel tax. This is money that is going to come back into our economy. And it has boosted the entire value chain. So it is a huge data. We are looking at 8,000, like Senior has talked about. Over 8,000 delegates. Those are the number of people that are going to affect our economy in dollars.
Oh, beautiful.
Let us look at afterwards. Everything we have done, Kampala in the last 3 months has done 35 kilometers of upgrading roads. It has improved on our stock of infrastructure in the city. Kampala has worked on the drainages at key points like Soyabunga, which were a menace. Now I can confidently say that for the next 20 years, we shall not have trouble there. At Autospa, we have opened up the drain. We are straightening up. So disease has been chased. Destruction of property through flooding has been chased. Destruction of roads and infrastructure through flooding has also been said goodbye to in those areas. Technically, we have beautified the city in those areas, and we are not turning back.
Okay.
We have engaged for the first time in the history of Kampala. Senior, I report to you and the people that are watching us. We have conducted civic-based beautification. People are painting their properties, they are paving their frontages, they are cutting grass in front of them without the use of force.
Wow.
We have engaged them and they have done. Now this is the beginning. What we have done in Makinde is what we are going to duplicate
In
to
other
the rest
areas.
of the divisions, and I'm sure even in the greater Kampala metropolitan area. So there is everything to gain with these summits, and there is everything for us to showcase to the world that Uganda is indeed the pearl of Africa.
Okay, interesting.
And
Now,
Kampala
is that
is the gem of Uganda.
Oh, okay. How about Ginger? But okay, let's look at it from the political angle, because we are hosting high-level politicians, heads of state, their deputies, their vice presidents, and all. So there must be something to gain politically, or something at least to learn and take away. Mr. Bamunia, what do you have to say about the benefits, politically or socially, that are coming with the summit?
You see, one of the challenges of developing countries is to concentrate on politics, and you don't concentrate on economics.
Oh,
I'm a marketer by profession,
okay.
and in marketing we say people don't take a product, they take a brand.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody says if I don't take Coca-Cola, I don't sleep. But what is the difference between Coke and many other Pepsi and what? So we are building a brand called Uganda. So that wherever you are, wherever you go, once somebody has said, I'm from what? Uganda? Where there was none summit? Where there are gorillas, mountain gorillas? Where there is church house? Where there is source of the Nile? It's an area I must go.
Okay.
So we are building this brand globally, such that we compete on the share of the global resources and the global market. So the mere fact that for the next 2 weeks, that the entire cameras of the world are going to be focused in Uganda, which we call the global focus. Everywhere. I can tell you, let me use an example of family TV since I'm here.
Okay.
Your TV came and visited my farm. And when you visited my farm, you put up this air. Very many people called me, I didn't know them. Very many people have come because family TV came and brought and saw something and gave it to the public. Now, that I'm using it as just one.
Yes.
But I'm saying now the global media is all focused in Uganda.
Yeah.
Therefore, we are going to benefit in a short term, actually immediate term, short term, mid term, and long term.
Okay.
Of course, immediate term is so far there are people who are employed.
Yeah.
So far.
Yes.
Mid-term, there are people who are going to supply food, as he was mentioning. Those ones are earning now. We are going to get tax immediately as people arrive. Those are short term. But then we have mid-term. There's going to be a business sideline meeting.
Yes.
Business to business. I'm telling you, the business deals are going to be striked. Now, once they have been striked, then what follows now is to follow up for implementation of these businesses that have been striked.
Okay.
And I can tell you, we are producing almost 100,000 children every year from universities and tertiary institutions. And the biggest preoccupation is employment for the youth. Therefore, once we get these business deals, you are sure that some quota of Ugandans are going to be employed. 2, these strategic meetings globally, we are going to have long-term investments. People are going to come and invest in factories. People are going to come for tourism, and those are long-term issues. And therefore, as a country, we are going to benefit.
Okay.
Infrastructure, these roads are not going away.
Yes.
This internet, which has been upgraded, is not going away. The security apparatus is going to remain robust, and these are for the good of Uganda. Now, politically, non-aligned movement, these are countries which were originally colonized, and underdeveloped. In 1961, 5 countries, that is Ghana and Nkrumah, Abdel Nasser, Egypt, and then the one of Yugoslavia, another one in Rhodesia, and the Nehru of India. They are the ones who hatched this, because the world was divided into 2: Soviet Union and USA, and USA. Capitalism, socialism. But these are big powers. When they are talking, they don't talk about us. Why can't we churn out our own and we start dealing with ourselves?
Okay.
So politically, we are now getting political alliances, both regionally, globally, and and within the geopolitics. Of course, if you have been having, for instance, if you have a challenge, let me use an analogy of wedding. You have your son is going to wed, and you are one. But although you are one, you have 100 friends. You call them.
Yeah.
And one will put in the other one. And so for us to be having friends, 120, let it be economic, let it be social, let it be political, let it be military. It will be easy handled. Okay. Because you have people who can walk with you the journey. But also at another strategic level, you are seeing America's hegemony, the West. You remember we had a friend of ours called Gaddafi. He was killed by NATO. And who was coming next? Because Gaddafi was one of us. So we are trying to say, can we get organized, small as we are, so that if there is a big power who wants to touch us, we can also say we are here. Because we are not, Africans are not a bit cautious. When you see, for instance, Chinese coming here, there are almost 2 billion people, almost. When you see resources, the 58% of the Arab world, land in the world is in Africa, where you can grow crop without putting anything and it grows. 85% of the world minerals are found in Africa. But then 85% of the industries that process these minerals are in the West.
Yeah.
So how are you preparing yourself to make sure that you are not swallowed up? And that's the importance of the NAM, to make sure that we continue consolidating our friendship politically, militarily, so that we can also have a voice on the global stage. This is the second meeting in terms of size to the UN. So if these 120 countries say we want this, there's no reason why they cannot be listened. Then even finances, we have been borrowing money from IMF and World Bank.
Yeah.
But now you are having an opportunity that there is one of you as a NAM, called India. And India has also, it is almost a superpower. You can agree on bilateral arrangements on how to finance your activities. China is part of us. Japan. These are countries which have already transited and they have the capacity to even to lend money and give aid. So it's important there is this meeting at that international stage that you are building alliances with these partners, and at the end of the day, the country will benefit, the region will benefit, and even the continent, because largely almost all Africans are members of because we are colonized and we are rooted, and we are subjugated. So it's important that we have these kind of arrangements and alliances which can boost our political, social, economic and military stage.
Okay, because of time, I'm going to have to, request you to give in your last words, and I'll start with Daniel Nwabine. You maybe tell Ugandans out there, wrap up for them what the NAM is going to be about and what to expect as you wrap up and say goodbye.
Well, the people of Kampala and Uganda, those who are watching us, one and most importantly, we are the most unique in the world. So let's show that to the world. Let's welcome our guests, people of Kampala and the greater metropolitan, especially on the side of the roads leading to Entebbe, to Munyonyo. You're going to be disturbed a bit. Your way of life is going to be affected in terms of mobility. You may spend longer hours on the road. You may be inconvenienced in one or the other. But it is for the greater good of the city, the country, and Africa.
Okay.
Let us maintain the cleanliness. Those who have not painted, please finalize the painting of your properties. But do not stop there, because this is not because of NAM alone. Let's continue. There is less dust on Gaba Road, Lukuri Road, Prince Badru, Kakunguru, UCB Rise, Mobutu, and many others, because people have paved their frontages. We have put garbage bins, dust bins across the city. Let us use those dust bins. Let us consolidate. Let us preserve what we have gained, such that we continue. And now, as a city, we want a smart city. People have been hearing about a smart city and saying, what is the smart city? With that notorious word, potholes. But wherever we finish, there is no pothole. We have a huge project coming up.
Okay.
One that is already ongoing, the Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project. That now the roads were about 70 kilometers, but we are now increasing it because of the savings we made to about 90 or 100 kilometers.
Okay.
That is increasing the stock. You're seeing works going on in Bugolobi, works going on Salama Road, works going on Sapol, Kabwa Road, and many other roads. So the notion of potholes, you will be given a prize to discover a pothole in Kampala in the next 3 years. Let us drop our garbage responsibly. Let us look after our children during this holiday period. Let us watch over them. Let us guide them. Let us get great Ugandans, and I believe we are going to show the world that we are indeed the pearl of Africa.
Thank you. Mr. Bamwini, your last words as you wrap up.
My last words, one, I start with Family TV. Try as much as possible to portray the good of Uganda.
Okay.
Everywhere, whichever Ugandan where you are, try as much as possible to portray ourselves in a good situation, in a good light. Even if you have issues, we can quarrel after the guests have gone. This is not the time to quarrel. If you have a daughter getting married, every relative, whether rich or poor, gets involved to make sure that this function goes on successfully.
Yeah.
It will be unfortunate that you are getting this daughter getting married, then you find one of the aunties is there grumbling. That one we call it Abashezi. So I expect everybody to participate in this, to support where the things are not moving on well. Yes, they cannot be perfect 100%. More so, I request the people not to antagonize or to go confrontational with security. Because security in the country and in the city is well laid now. If they advise you don't take this route, don't argue. Respect what they are saying so that we can have a smooth function, a smooth hosting of the summit, and it is going to be a strategic summit that is going to invite other summits in the future.
Okay.
Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being a part of Issues at Hand. Mr. Nwabine Daniel, PRO of the Summit's Task Force Preparation for NAM, as well as Mr. Fred Bamwini, Commissioner, President's Office, for making time to be with us. And we do hope that if we call you next time, you will also have the time for us. To our viewer, thank you so much for being a part of Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Carol Tumwine, and we are on our social media platforms where the conversation is going to continue. That's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Church of Uganda Family TV. We are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.